Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Try New Things, where today we're going to do pole barn build episode number 6. If you remember in episode number 5, it was a story of a lot of things started, not a lot of things finished. Well, today in this episode I'm going to show you that some of those things have been completed and we've started some new things as well. We're transitioning to working more on the inside of the building, on the interior fit up, and for me that's pretty exciting time. So come along for the ride and I'll show you everything that we've got accomplished since the last episode. So one of the things you may remember from the last episode was the electrical side of the house. On the exterior I had showed a hole in the wall with a wire sticking out and said someday there's going to be a light here. So here's the light now installed in between the front window and the front door, and another one just like it is now installed at the back. Here at the side of the building, another new development, got some big hoses sticking through the side of the wall. So what that is the beginnings of my Minisplit system. So here in the interior fit up, we're going with a split system, a 2-unit interior, 1-unit exterior. So those pipes where they come out, that's going to be where the condensing unit's going to go. So here we are at the back of the barn, and you can see the other light, the twin to the one in the front, between the man door and the large garage door. And directly below that, on the black wainscoting, is the exterior receptacle, whereas last time just a wire through the wall. Now we have a functioning plug. And why is it functioning? Because we finally have permanent power. Let me take you inside and show you. Alright, so here we are inside the pole barn, and we just came in from outside where I shared the exciting news that I'm finally off temporary power and on permanent power. And for me, one of the big things that means is we have light. We have lots and lots of light. So I finally get to see how these LED lights that my electrician Mike Whalen recommended, they are perfect. They're extremely bright. It's not casting a whole lot in the way of shadows. There's no dark corners, and it's working out really well. One of the things that I don't know if it was on purpose or just coincidental, but anyway, at the end it turned out pretty interesting and works very well. But in episode 4, you probably remember me talking about my decision to put the windows in the garage doors at the very top, and how the barn builder called me back and said, "You sure you can't see out of my?" "Yeah, I just want it for light." Well, it turns out it's dual purpose as it relates to light. So if you're looking at the LED lights now directly over the tractor, that's the center row of lights, and it's hanging directly in the middle of the barn, directly down from the rafters. So let me show you what I'm talking about as it relates to the coincidence, the lights, and the doors. Or was it by design? I don't know. I wasn't here when they installed the lights, but this is pretty cool. So here's that center light, the last one in line in the middle, and it's right in front of the garage door. And what I was thinking when I first saw that is what's going to happen when I open the garage door is that's going to block that particular light. But let me open the garage door and show you how this turns out. So don't know if you can see that well on the camera or not, but when the garage door is open, that center window at the top of the door frames the LED light almost perfectly. And so the bulk of that light is shining right through that middle window and acting as if there's no door open whatsoever. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm curious to see if that was by design by Mike or it just happened to work out that way. But all the lights are hanging in the center of the bay and hanging directly from the rafter, and that's where those two things ended up lining up at the end of the day. So pretty neat detail, but let's talk about the interior build for a little bit. So in the last barn build episode, if you recall, what you would see on the outside of this interior fit up was the insulation that I had just installed. And subsequent to that, my general contractor, Blakemore Construction, came out and put a skin of 7/16 OSB over the top of that. That's not going to be the final visual product. A little bit later on, I'm going to reface that. Not quite sure exactly what I'm going to put on there yet. I'm thinking 1/4 inch plywood and corrugated steel, kind of the corrugated barn look on the bottom and nice finished plywood at the top. But that'll be a different day. Another thing I can show you while I'm here is here you can see the plumbing and the electrical for the Minisplit system coming in from outside, up overhead of the interior build and into the wall where the Minisplit's going to go. But let's go on the inside and you'll see it a little bit better there. Here we are inside the kitchenette, and you can see another big development is the installation of the drywall. So we don't have lights installed inside the living box yet, but that'll come soon. Up here you can see the piping sticking through the wall for the Minisplit. Not sure how that's all going to be concealed and looking nice. So I'm interested to see how that turns out, or I'm hoping they just pulled a lot more pipe and cable than they needed and it'll be trimmed off and tucked in nicely under the Minisplit that'll be going against that left wall, providing cooling mostly and heating for mostly the kitchen dining room area and the restroom. The other thing is last night I snuck in here and painted the ceiling. So the ceiling is all painted, and my plan for today is to paint the back office area, the utility room, and the restroom. Now I left picking the colors up to Kim and Madison, and that's probably a good thing. So for the back office space, the utility room, and the restroom, it's going to be a fairly neutral color. And then once we get to painting the kitchen area, that's where the splash of color is going to come into play. So up next, stay tuned. After I get at least those 3 rooms painted, I'll provide you another update. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's a couple days later, and I had mentioned that the back office, the utility room, and the restroom color would be fairly neutral. I know what you're thinking. The walls are white, and I can tell you the ceiling is white and the walls are slightly off-white, but very neutral indeed. But I also told you that the splash of color would come in the kitchen. So here's the color Kim and Madison picked for the kitchen. I obviously like it a lot. And the reason I like it a lot is right outside. So again, there's the color of the kitchen wall that they picked. And there's the color of my Wrangler that I picked. Same color. I don't know what the name of this paint is, but I'm sure it's not Amped, which is the color of the Jeep, but they're very close indeed. So the next steps in this project, I'm going to be building some window boxes and trimming those out. Also got to trim the existing door. Yeah, the interior build's coming along. Stay tuned. The next clip that I will show you, hopefully I'll have the windows all trimmed out. All right, welcome back to another clip, everybody. A little bit more progress since last time. I've successfully built, installed, and trimmed the window boxes. So those are all ready. In addition to that, had a chance to trim out the entry door. Now, supposedly tomorrow, my cabinet should be arriving. And I've picked up my sink, so that's all ready to go. I've got the butcher block countertops ready to go. Still waiting on some more interior doors. So this is the one going out to the pole barn that we're waiting on. And then we're waiting on these 3 doors in the hallway. The one to the restroom, the utility room, and the office space. So that's the update for today. A little more progress on the interior build. But we'll bring you another clip. I'm hopefully going to get started on preparing for the shower tile later this week. All right, everybody, we're going to call it a wraps on this episode of Try New Things. Pole barn build episode number 6. Stay tuned. There's a little bit left to go. We are getting close to the end, but next episode, I guarantee we're going to wrap up the mini split install. We're going to get the shower at least completely tiled. We may not have a shower door installed yet, but we'll see. And hopefully we'll make continued progress on the cabinets. The doors will come in, and we'll be able to share a lot more next time. But until then, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave comments and questions below. And until next time, bye-bye.